Thanks for sharing that, Dawn. Oh, I almost got teary there. I know. I think I'm okay for, excuse me, this week. I don't plan anything that's gonna cause me to tear up, I don't think, but count on Dawn's story to do it for me. So as I said, we're celebrating Chinese New Year's. It's the year of the horse. And the Chinese New Year's has been celebrated since 450 CD, before BCE, before whatever. So it's the longest running annual party and celebration, and it runs for 15 days, but it starts on the 31st, which is Friday. Now, I wanted to share with you some of the ways that it's celebrated, because I think that's really the issue. And one of the things that the Chinese do is that they clean their house before the new year. And they use a new broom, and then they hide the broom so that bad luck can't sneak in again. So that's the number one tip. Clean your house. And I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to hide the broom so so bad luck can't creep in. And then you don't clean. Here's the good part I like too. You don't clean again for 2 or 3 days. So you don't stir up that good luck and shove it out the door. Then the other thing is to open the windows and let in fresh luck. And air out your home. And let everything clear out and the good flow in. Now you know that these things are all a little superstition, and yet they're very symbolic. And when we think these things, we put them into the universe. So when you actually clean your house, you are saying to the universe, I'm ready for good luck. I've let go of the old and I'm ready for good luck. And when you open the doors and the windows, you're saying to the universe, I'm letting in good luck and I'm letting out all the old business. Another way that they celebrate is to decorate with a lot of symbolism. And so I hung the Chinese calendar symbols on the door just because it's symbolic. And colors are important. Red is really important.
You faded away.
I did fade away. Now that's not symbolic. And gold is important because it represents gold. And I'm getting hand signals here. So what do I need to do? Check it? It's still not working. Yeah, I get this.
Oh.
But how can I talk without my hands? No?
Just the left.
Use my left hand. Okay. And here's a really important issue. And that is the Chinese historically have made a point of paying off all their debts before the new year. I'm pretty close to that. And here's the thing. Getting rid of all your debts in whatever symbolic way lightens your load, lightens your spirit. And it allows you to use that energy that's very subtly been pulling on you and holding you back. It gives you that energy to be able to use. So not only paying off your debts, but tending to the business that's been niggling at the back of your mind. The little jobs, the little forgivenesses, the little connections with people that maybe you've been neglecting. They don't seem like much, and yet they're wasting energy, holding your energy, and you don't have that to use. So that's a really important thing to do. And we can always decide what day is a New Year day. We don't have to wait for the American New Year or the calendar New Year. We don't have to wait for the lunar or the Chinese New Year. We can make that decision for ourselves at any time. But it's just so freeing to have that kind of plan, have that kind of idea and concept. So I would encourage you to think about that. The other thing that the Chinese do for the New Year is they give away money. So I have gifts for each one of you, and I'd invite the practitioners to help pass that out. Somebody can help. So, our board president, Jen, shared with me this phrase, this motto, this affirmation from Anne Frank, and I want to share it with you. Anne Frank said, "Nobody ever became poor by giving." Shall I say that again? No one ever became poor by giving. So I have given to each of you. This is from me, my gift, to you. And in it is $1. Now, if you thought to yourself, $1, that's not much of a gift. Shame, shame, shame on you. I want to tell you about a little girl. Her name is Kate Stagliano. Now, Kate Stagliano, at 9 years old, received a little seedling of cabbage. She got it free from school. And she took her little seedling home and she planted it. And her seedling grew into a 40-pound cabbage. I know. 40-pound cabbage. So she won a prize for growing this huge cabbage. And she thought, what can I do with my cabbage? Now, some people call money cabbage. I don't know if you wear that. But what can I do with my 40-pound cabbage? So she took it to a homeless shelter and donated it. This little 9-year-old girl that wasn't big as a wisp took her 40-pound cabbage, literally walked into the homeless shelter to donate it. And they used it to make cabbage soup. And it fed 250 people. Wow. So she was dazzled at 9 years old with what her 40-pound cabbage could do. So, with the help of her parents, but her own initiative and her own ideas, she formed a nonprofit organization and created six community gardens that that produced a ton, literally, 2,000 pounds worth of produce that she gives to the homeless shelter and to people that are needing food. So do we ask, what can I do with $1? And the answer is, to me, what can't you do with $1? Because money is only a symbol of God's energy. It's just a symbol. What can't we do with $1? So during our question and answer time, I'm going to invite you to give ideas about what you're going to do with my gift of $1 to you. Because, when we give, literally, it is returned to us tenfold. It cannot be otherwise. That's the law of the universe. Unless we are counteracting that act of generosity by clinging to it, by holding on to it, by feeling deprived by giving it away, because that then is what goes into the universe. That is our prayer. Not the act of generosity. It is the act of, I don't want to let go of it. And therefore, the universe responds to that thought of limit, that thought of fear, that thought of clinging and hanging on. That is the prayer that we put into the universe when we're feeling lack, when we're feeling short, when we're feeling upset by giving things away. I guess that I'm close to being through here.
Sorry, did I get the wrong cue?
I think so.
I thought that was the talk.
You're
Oh.
doing great.
I think that's just, thank you. Let me see, where was I?
You were wrapping things up.
Yes, I was. How funny. The dollar.
The universe was holding on to the dollar.
The universe is holding on to the dollar.
Amen.
Amen. So, there was a real brief story I wanted to share with you. I'll let you know, Don. There was a real brief story I wanted to share. There was this movie that I saw recently. It was called Into Light or In Spring or something like that. It was about this man who worked in the shipping yards and he lost his job. And he was devastated by losing his job. He was too old to find another job. And so he somehow or other got the idea that he would swim the English Channel. So he started training for it in secret. And as he trained to swim the English Channel, there is a point here. As he trained to swim the English Channel, he healed all of his old business, his old family hurts. And as he had the courage to move into a new role that was a big stretch for him, his courage touched everyone in his family. And they all healed their fears. And so, the same principle is at play here. As we allow ourselves to grow into generosity and giving and love, as we allow ourselves to do that with no words, no call to action, we touch other people in such a way that they are able to grow and to become generous and to heal. It cannot be otherwise. Because as we are one in the universe, as I have a thought, that thought is God divined and God directed. So as I am, as you are, as we are, guided and directed to be generous and to give and to share, that flows into the rest of the universe. It touches people on a way and on a level that we can't even discern. Well, one nice thing is you can't hear me swallow if I don't have my mic on, right? So that's what I'd encourage you to do, is to think about ways that you can move into generosity, ways that you can give, and as you give, also heal the rest of the world. Sometime back, I told you about a young man. Now this may cause me to cry. I hadn't planned on telling you this, but Keith Harris, Tim Harris. I told you about him. He's a young man who has Down syndrome. And he owns a restaurant in Albuquerque. And what Tim Harris does in his restaurant is he hugs people. He hugs people. And last Friday, Tim Harris was on The View, sharing hugs with the ladies on The View. And he had to hurry home to Albuquerque because he was going to have a hug-a-thon. And the hug-a-thon was to raise money for the Firemen's Fund. And they were projecting that it would raise $10,000. What a wonderful thing. He has used, in a way that is amazing, his natural talent and his natural ability to hug. What a gift that is. So, after our prayer, when it comes time for our sharing, I'm going to ask you, what's the best thing to do with $1? And we'll have some fun. I love you all. I bless you all. And I thank you for blessing me. Namaste. So, I'd invite the practitioners and the reverend to stand and circle the room with their knowing. Now, next week, I want you to remember that we're celebrating the practitioners. They've agreed to rededicate themselves to this center. So we'll have a service of rededication, and then I invite you to join us if you'd bring little potluck snacks. Join us to celebrate them. Now, there's a box over here for prayer requests. And what I'd like for you to do this week is put them to the test. They're up for it. So, absolutely, put in a prayer request for anything that you need to let go of that's been niggling at the back of your mind, whatever it may be. And let's test them. Okay? Now, what I want to share with you today is an affirmative prosperity prayer by our founder, Ernest Holmes. And isn't it delicious how this happens? I just discovered this prayer. I'd never seen it, I'd never heard it before. So, I'm going to invite you to join with me as we listen to the words of Ernest Holmes, our founder. So as I turn within, I share this prayer. And I'm praying, Don.
All right. Pray for me.
Okay. Today, I expect every good thing to come to me. For I know that divine abundance is forever manifesting itself in my affairs. I am keeping my whole mind and thought and expectation open to new experiences, to happier events, and to a more complete self-expression. Everything that belongs to spirit, I accept. Everything that partakes of the nature of divine reality, I claim as my own. I identify with success and I prosper in everything I do. As I give thanks for the good now flowing into my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. I experience a deeper consciousness of peace and security, for I know that I am in the embrace of a warm, loving presence, forever seeking an outlet through me. My cup runneth over. I exist in limitless possibilities. Divine abundance is forever manifesting in my affairs. And I invite you to own that with me as your very own prayer of prosperity by saying, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you, practitioner.